And if there's one thing you take away from this, take this. Hey there, Coach Devin here. Let's talk about difficult times. A lot of people go through difficult times. In fact, all of us have gone through some difficult times before. And difficult times, they come and go. But the interesting thing that I find with my job, that there's difficult times that we go through, either physically or mentally or emotionally, and then there's real difficult things that people go through on a regular basis. And sometimes you have to sit back and say, wait a second, just because somebody looks like a finished product does not mean that it's been easy for them. We're going to talk about that in a sec. Before we get home, hit that like and subscribe down below, and please share this with your friends. The reason I make these videos is because I have been in the health and fitness industry now for just about 28 years. I've owned a gym for 11 years now, 11 years next week actually. And the reason I do these is because I want to give some ideas for people, to give people some positive thought processes, to explain the science behind fitness and health, because there's a lot of bad information out there when it comes to health and fitness. So I try to do that as much as I can. So please like, subscribe, share this with your friends. I mean, the goal of this is that we all learn together, and hopefully I can impart a little bit of wisdom. I do know a little bit about health and fitness, and if I can impart some wisdom and help people out, that's the whole goal. All right. I'm gonna tell you about a hard part in my life. I've been divorced. I got divorced 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago now. So it was in September of 2010. I had a business that was not quite a year old at the time. I had two little kids, and my wife and I split up. Not going to blame anybody for the split up. In reality, the best possible thing, because we didn't really see eye to eye, didn't get along very well. So in reality, and I've said this to her in the past, we may not get along well, but you know what, I respect the fact that she made that decision, because you know what, it was the best decision for everybody. Now, having said that, we're going to talk about hard times. I went through a period there I had no money. And when I say I had no money, I mean I had no money. Like, people will say, I'm broke, or whatever. I had no money. So when we're talking no money, this is how much of no money I had. I would have my kids, for basically 3 or 4 days every second weekend. And there'd be a period there in that week and a half that I didn't have the kids, that I knew if I didn't sell some stuff, right? If the business didn't make enough money, I was not going to be able to feed them on the weekend when I had them. That is a big gun to your head. And to drive that point home, maybe a little bit better, I had no money insofar as I had no money. I couldn't buy food, really. And I know people are like, oh, that's not real. Okay, no, I'm not even kidding. I lived on, and I'm going to break this down real quick. I knew I needed protein. So I had protein powder. I had tuna. I had pita wraps, because they were cheaper than the bread. I had apples, and I had oatmeal. And that's basically what I ate. Like the entire time the kids weren't there, that was a staple of my meals. That's all I had to eat. And I'm not kidding. People, quite often, I've told this story before, people look at me and they go, oh, come on now, seriously? Like, you actually lived on tuna and protein powder and oatmeal? I'm like, I'm not kidding. That's what I had to eat. I had no other money, and I had no options. I mean, to the point where the kids were coming over, and I didn't have places for them to sleep the first night. I had to buy mattresses and put the mattresses on the floor, because when my ex moved out, took everything. Totally different story. But I didn't have mattresses for them to sleep on. And I didn't have the money to buy the mattress, so I had to buy it on credit cards, going, how am I going to pay this off later? Those are hard times. I haven't had monetarily a hard time like that since, fortunately. God willing, that will not happen again. But that is a hard time. And how do you deal with those kind of situations? Because those things will come up all the time. It comes up in fitness too. Like, you're going along and everything's fine, and then, you have an injury, or, a client recently tore an Achilles tendon, or, you get sick. I had a staph infection in my back, a year and a half ago, and almost died. Those things do happen. How do you bounce back from them? And what I can tell you is, it is all in your mind. That's what it is. I mean, mine was in the bank account earlier on, obviously. But it really is all in your mind. If you say, woe is me, and this is going to be the hardest thing that I've ever done, oh my God, why is this happening to me? I'm, such a loser, or something along those lines. Bad stuff, you are not going to get through it. But if you go into it with as much of a positive headspace as you can, and just say, I have to do this, I don't have a choice. It's like the rap song by E-Double, F Plan B. I got no plan for it. I had no other plans. I had to make money in this business, or I was going to be out of work and not able to feed myself and my kids. That was my options. And there were plenty of nights I went to bed and I was like, oh boy, I can't, how am I going to make money in the world? This is not even going to work. It's not possible. I'm pretty much screwed right now. That stuff happened regularly. But you know what? Every day I woke up, I was like, okay, time to grit your teeth, time to put in the work. Something good will happen today. And you know what? At the end of the day, good things did happen. Things came along over time. It will happen. You just have to put the time and the energy into it. It is all about creating a positive headspace, and when bad things happen, saying, okay, that happened, moving forward. I like to say to the kids all the time, something bad happens and they get annoyed about it or they're upset, and I go, turn the page. It's time to move on, because you know what? What else are you going to do? You can sit around and complain about it, and that is, lots of people do that, but it doesn't fix the problem. It's like a lot of times I've said to people when they come to me with a problem, I'm like, okay, I'll listen to your problem, but you know what? You need to come up with some solutions, and let's talk about solutions. We can talk for 5 minutes or 10 minutes on the problem, but is that going to fix the problem? Just talking about the problem? No, it's not. It's not fixing anything. You're just wandering along, right? Sitting there rehashing the problem again and again doesn't fix the problem. Me sitting around going, I don't have any money for food, how am I going to feed my kids? That doesn't fix the problem. You got to get out there and go to work. Same thing happens when you come to health and fitness. How am I going to lose weight? And a lot of clients, I know people will say to me, Devin, why do you talk about losing weight a lot? A lot of the clients that I deal with want to lose weight. That's their goal. Doesn't mean that, weight loss is the be all and end all of anything. It just means that a lot of clients that I deal with on a regular basis need to lose weight, or maybe a better way to put it, they want to lose weight. That's their goal. And so since their goal is to lose weight, my job is to help them with that, right? If they spend their time going, this is going to be really hard, I don't know, should I even bother doing it? But what's the point? Well, bad things are going to happen because you're not going to get anywhere. But you know what? You have to take that first step. And I say that to clients quite often. Take the first step. You know what? Come to the gym the first time. The first time you go to the gym, that's the hard one. After that, it gets easier because people, it seems more normal. First time you eat a healthy meal, that's the hard one. After that, it gets easier and easier because you're building a virtuous cycle. And that's what you're trying to do. A vicious cycle is when you're sitting around depressed, angry, upset, annoyed, all those things. It doesn't do anything for you. It just doesn't do anything for you. Like Dr. Phil would say, how's that working for you? So if you're doing something that is not getting you results, is not getting you where you want to go, is, not giving you any positive feedback, outside of the fact that people are saying, oh, woe is you, and, your life sucks, are you getting anywhere? I'm a believer in taking steps forward. Listen, pandemics are a perfect example of that. Or actually, pandemics, I've only dealt with one. Pandemic being a perfect example of that. Nothing really got hit much harder than gyms. I mean, I suppose there's some businesses that could argue different things of that. I can say from my own personal experience, gyms took a beating in pandemics. It's hard. We have clients that are still scared to come back. We have clients that didn't want to get a vaccine, so now they can't come to the gym. A lot of them are angry at me. I have no control over that. So I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. But you know what? There's nothing else you can do but keep on grinding forward. Sitting around and complaining about it doesn't fix the problem. And that's what I'm trying to get out to here. And if there's one thing you take away from this, take this. Sitting around and whining does no good. It doesn't fix your problems. The only way you fix your problems is by taking concrete steps. Most clients that I've ever dealt with over the course of my life, and it's been 28 almost years in health and fitness now, those clients all took a first step to come in, and most of them were petrified. Most of them were uncomfortable. They didn't want to come to the gym. They were intimidated by me. They were intimidated by gyms. They didn't know what to do. They felt bad about themselves. You know what? But they took that first step. You just have to take the first step. It is one step, and as soon as you do it, it'll get better. We've had many clients that say, you know what, I sat in the parking lot and cried because I was so afraid to come into the gym. And then when I walked in the door, the first time I realized I didn't need to be that upset. That's a real thing. That is a 100% real thing. That happens. We hear that all the time because people are afraid and concerned. But all you can do, if you take nothing else away from this video, take this one thing. Take the first step, take a positive step, and keep stepping. You don't need to see the end. You don't need to see the end. You just have to take the first step. If you have comments, questions, things you want me to talk about, pardon me, write them up down below. I'd love to hear from you. Have yourself an amazing day, everybody. Don't fight the awesome.